Next part I'm going to talk about externality theory. It's quite important part in our microeconomics. So let's begin. What is externality? It's when one party's action makes another better off or worse off, but doesn't bear the consequence. So when we talk about externality, most of the time it's negative impact to not only to another firm or consumers, but also to those like environment or something. Okay, so we have negative production externality actions. Um, yeah, negative effect. So for example, the steel production pollutes water, so less fish for fishermen, but the steel production firms didn't bear this consequence because they don't fish the fish. They don't do fishing, so they don't need to bear this cost. It's negative production externality. Under here's chart, X is producer marginal cost. So if we want to take the externality, the negative production externality into account, we use this, which is social social marginal cost, and it's above because we have marginal damage here, so it should be there, but um eventually he's here, so we have the deadweight loss. This triangles area deadweight loss just negative production externality, and to like a like this case the fisherman to bear it. Yeah, it's because it's overproduction. Okay, the social marginal cost equals to production marginal cost plus marginal damage, not to the environment but also to another party, another funds, or other things, which lead to market value, and we create deadweight loss. Okay, what's about the consumption parts? We have production externality negative. We also have negative consumption externality. It's consuming a good makes another party worse off. So the social marginal benefits equals to per consumer's marginal benefits and minus the marginal damage. So overconsumption here, just like overproduction. We all have a deadweight loss error, and it leads to market failure too. So positive consumption externality. It's just a flip side of negative consumption externality. The example is neighborhood should remove dirt in yard because the social marginal benefit is greater than social marginal cost. But it doesn't because the personal marginal benefit is smaller than social marginal cost. That means you can use the dirt, even if you don't pay for it. So sounds like a positive consumption externality. The positive production externality is mm, um, are entity in private funds, so underinvested. Okay, so if it underinvested, then the stockholders have least positive production externality because they can sell stock in a very high price in the future. Here is another concept is internalization. That is comes because information asymmetry. The production over the production, consumption over consumption. Yeah, it's this, and we want to internalization. So the government can hold the solutions like set a regulation and the corrective tax, just tax the margin damage. So I shipped up, then shipped down because you tax it. And corrective subsidy to those fishermen in for example. Okay. Now policy in practice like environmental externalities, carbon tax, and quantity regulation, health externalities, information taxation, and penalties for drunk driver, and set a goal, impose some policy illegal. Okay, so here is the externality theory. Now we are going to take a look at behavioral economics. It's more like using psychological insights to make better models. Yeah, because our model before we model supply demand and the monopoly come perfectly competition markets and oligopoly. We we just model different types of markets, but it's based on very rational decision. In fact, in our reality, every person do not very rational. 100% they are swayed by their mood, yeah, swayed by their feeling. They don't do and they don't do very calculation to each decision. So you may fall into some traps. That's what I'm gonna to talk about. Okay. Yeah. So very important concept is time inconsistency. That is, individuals can't carry out rational plans and arise when short-term cost but long-term benefits. Like for example, smoking diets. You always want to quit smoking, but now the short-term cost, you just ignore it and you gain a lot of utility from smoking and short term, but you ignore it's a large amount of cost in the long term if you keep in smoking. So tight inconsistent preferences, we all have this. Change preferences when in front of you. Discounts accounts for impatience in utility, and we assign this discount is exponential. So here is utility and the consumption from Taiwan to Tai T. It's all of your life. And its discount rates are because your utility just have a discount as the time as 1 month, 1 year, 1 year have a more discount. Okay. So this is not how people behave. Even with we model here, this is not how people behave. Okay? Why? We do some So the behavioral economics is highly connected to experimental economics because economists want to know how people really think, not just calculate a lot of numbers on the paper and to assume that people are rational. Behavioral or experimental economists don't do that. So here is an experiment. 100 today versus 125 next year, or 100 today into 100 in 2 years versus 125 in 3 years. So people are impatient today and patient in the future. It means for this case, for the first case, people tend to choose $100 today. But in the second, people choose $1,125 in 3 years. So if it's not today, they don't care. They're they are become more patient. So they think 3 years, one more years is equals to $25. It's how behavioral economics work. Because if we are if we use very rational model, these two should be the same. So they don't need to choose $100 today. They would change it $125 next year. But in fact, things do not work like that. So we write it the consumption of today, which is consumption one, is very important. So we take this from that. Yeah. And we plus beta. Beta is like mm, it's usually just another variable, just measure how patience patience we are in the future. Okay. So here is a very simple example of thinking about behavioral economics. Now we have other behavioral insights. First is loss aversion, aversion, which is endowment effects. The experimental economist holding a mug and to to do some um to do some wild experiment in Boston. They gave people and asked how much you will pay for this mug. And this is a first group. And the second group is the economist give the people mug and ask them how much you are willing to sell it. And if I and the outcome is the first group say the average price is $5, and the second group of people said average price is $10. So from this we can know that people don't want to do something, just like a group B. Okay, so it's loss aversion. And we have unstable preferences. That is, preferences change based on now it's worded. Framing matters. So if you ask people, would you like this? Would you like to so if you want to so if you are a real estate agent and you want to sell a bundle like a house and a bicycle, So the framework is um how you describe a situation. For example, the first agent says that would you like to pay a certain amount of money to gain this bicycle? We have a discount. And the second agent say, oh, this bicycle is is linked to this house. So if you want to unlink it, just say it with me. And so the experiment's outcome revealed that second the second agent sell more bicycle than the first. So it's how framing works, and it's why it this is why it's exit. And we have statistic biases. People don't know statistic on themselves. Extinction via extinction in intrinsic and extrinsic models. Extrinsic signals and incentives affect behavior, and the presentation defaults matter, just like I'm the like example I mentioned. Checkbox if wants what for or 1K versus checkbox if you don't want for or 1K. Okay? Policy response regulation, information taxation, supply and nudges. Let us change defaults like to this to this, and for framework. So let's behavioral economics and externalities. Thank you for listening.